Okay, students, before I begin today's module, okay, so there is a news article in today's Times of India. See which news are related to the subject. So I have told you many a times that all news may not be directly related to a subject, but when you dig deep and read inside, definitely you will find that the news is related to one or the other subjects that you are learning. So actually the headline says full bus services from today as workers call off protest. Such a news, how it can be related to this subject. So the KSRTC staff had totally 9 demands, okay, for which they were protesting. So among these 9 demands, 3 are related to compensation directly. Okay, so among those 3, providing health insurance to employees. So health insurance, what is it? Base pay, allowance, benefit it is, okay. Just in the previous class we have discussed. Providing health insurance to employees. Second, pay related demand was paying allowances for extra duty. So if they work for extra hours, extra allowances should be given. That is what they demand. Then implementing recommendations of 6th pay commission. Okay, so to check the inflation in the economy, a commission is set up and which recommends to what extent the salary has to be increased in proportion to the increase in cost of living. So 6th pay commission pay scales are not yet implemented for these employees. So all of these you can understand will add to the cost. This cost to company. So when the existing compensation is not sufficient to meet the present cost of living, or there is no increase in the compensation along with the increase in cost of living, the employees feel demotivated. Okay, even in factories also, factory worker trade unions may end up in strikes or protests to requesting to fulfill their demand from the management. Okay, so this is an example of how compensation can lead to motivation or demotivation. Okay, and various aspects also. And what it says is implementing recommendations of 6th pay commission. It looks like then the recommendations of 6th pay commission have not been implemented for these employees. So in the pay model, what we have been learning, compliance with the laws and regulations related to compensation. Okay, so KSRTC is a corporation. Okay, so it looks like it has not implemented the recommendations of 6th pay commission, means they have not increased the salary, okay, as per the recommendations of 6th pay. So the corporation has not complied with the suggestion given by 6th pay commission. See, so whatever we have been learning, okay, so all will appear in the newspaper and magazines. All you need to have is an ability to identify the news and read the news with interest. And third aspect is you need to bring that news into classroom for information in the beginning stage, and second stage it should be for discussion. Okay, so with that news share, then let me go ahead with the screen share, where I will share the PowerPoint slides of next chapter in Unit 6. Students online, did you hear the news article?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, keep making some noise. Do not hesitate. But
yes,
do not,
sir.
But do not disturb. Keep making noise means at least when I ask, yes sir, no sir, okay, or some doubts you can ask. Can you see the PowerPoint slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, now pay attention.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Unit 6, okay, deals with extending and managing the system. Which system? Yeah, compensation system. So far what we studied in module 1 to 5 are related to development and implementation of a compensation system or compensation strategy. Okay, so various aspects like internal alignment, external competitiveness, okay, employee contribution, okay. So and from the pay model, 4 policy choices as well as the compliance of the pay system with the local laws and regulations. Now once a policy is in place, okay, so the system has to be extended to other employees also. So who are these other employees? Let us consider. Okay, simple example, other employees include executive level, chief executive officer. Do you think their pay is like any employer worker salary? That is slightly different, you will understand. Board of director salary, do they get salary like an employee? But though they get, but it is different. Then employees who are working in other countries, will they be paid the same amount? If they go to America, will they paid at this level? Cost of living differs, so pay has to be more there. So Unit 6 deals with extending and managing the system. So in that there are total 3 chapters in this module. The first chapter that deals with extending and managing the system is compensation of special groups. Okay. So we have 2 topics here in the chapter. Who are special groups? Definitely that will be addressed in the first part itself. And second part deals with compensation strategy for special groups. Only the different aspects are discussed in the book. Once again we are not going to learn everything. Pay model, okay, then objectives, compliance, no, only separate aspects, different aspects are discussed here. So first is who are special groups. They are also employees, okay, but they are different. Supervisors, corporate directors, in India we call them board of directors. Top management executives like chief executive officer, sales staff, sales all, right from vice president sales to a sales representative, any level. So these are the special groups. Okay, so the compensation system for them is slightly different from the average employee. So this chapter deals with compensation system of special groups. So I hope you understood what are special groups. They are also employees. So there are a couple of characteristics of special groups or these kind of employees which are discussed here. They tend to be strategically important to a company. A board of directors, for example, imagine, okay, they navigate the direction of the organization. They draw the vision and mission for the organization. It is those board of directors and chairman who take the decision about the company. Say for example acquisition and mergers. Who take the decision? It is board of directors and chairman. So, and CEO is a person who will also be part of the decision making as well as he will be responsible for implementation of that decision. Okay. Then positions tend to have built-in conflict that arises because different factions place incompatible demands on members of the group. Say for example, if you consider the remuneration of a chief executive officer. Okay, in the previous classes many times I have discussed, even I read out a news article. Salary or compensation of a CEO can be as high as 400 times more than the average salary of the employees. Then definitely it will leave him into conflict. Shareholders may put conditions like why this CEO is drawing such a high salary. So this is increasing cost to company and it is affecting profits, or it may be also affecting morale of the employees. So one example. Another example is sales staff. Okay, they don't work in the office, right? They always work away from the office in the field and under no or little supervision. So whether they are really working is another issue. So these positions are tend to have built-in conflict. That's why their compensation system is slightly different. So what is different? That is discussed in this aspect. I repeat again, right from A to Z it is not discussed here. Only the differences are discussed separately. So for the 4 special groups. So first let us begin with issues related to pay of supervisors. So generally in a factory, okay, who are supervisors? So there will be shop floor workers. We call them blue collar labor. Okay, so who work on machines and assemble or produce goods. Okay, then there should be somebody. How they will come to know? Okay, what is my schedule? What is my shift during? If the company factory is running in 3 shifts, which is my shift, right? Okay, then what is the work allocated for today, right? So when should I go on leave? Okay, so how should I work? Who will give all these instructions? A supervisor. So for a certain number of shop floor employees, one supervisor is appointed. Supervisor will be one among the employees. He will also be working there. He will not stand and simply give orders. Okay. But in addition to his job, what he will be doing? He will allocate the shifts or schedule to he will allocate the employees to each shift. He will take their attendance. He will allocate them goals or targets for the day, right? And he may even counsel them and mentor them. So this is an additional role played by this employee who are called as supervisors. So what are the issues? Okay, the first issue is these supervisors are caught between, means they have pressure from both the sides. These supervisors are caught between demands of upper management in terms of production goals. Upper management means top level management, vice president operations for example, or CEO for example, or plant head for example. They always put pressure on supervisors because they directly cannot communicate with the workers. So these supervisors will be under pressure from their superiors about production goals. So within these many hours, these many number of units have to be produced. And from their subordinates, their employees, they are under the pressure for their employees keep on asking for needs of employees in terms of rewards, reinforcements, means additional support, and counseling, which is the responsibility of supervisor. Okay. So these supervisors are caught up between the demands of upper management and their subordinates or workers. So that's what this job makes it complicated compared to other employees. Then the major challenge in paying supervisors. So the issue in paying supervisors is, as I mentioned, supervisor is also one among the employees. Okay. So the major issue in paying supervisors or deciding on the compensation of supervisors is equity. Equity here means, again and again I am repeating, it's not the same salary for all. That is not equity. Salary should be paid based on the nature of job or responsibilities assigned. So higher the responsibility, okay, additional responsibility, higher the pay. That is what we call equity. Please remember. So that supervisor can feel motivated. Say for example, if someone makes a teacher HOD, no increase in salary, only HOD. What will happen? Do you call it equity? No. So that person will not be motivated, simply will sit on the chair. Okay, not to irritate the management. Okay, but he will not produce anything, he will not be productive. So provide incentives to entice employees to accept challenges of being a supervisor. As I mentioned, supervisor will not be hired from outside, he will be one among the employees. But why employees will come forward to take additional responsibilities? If there is additional pay, only then. Otherwise, who will become supervisor? Nobody will come forward. For same salary, nobody would like to accept additional responsibilities. It is not only about responsibilities, later they will be held responsible. Okay, and for no additional pay, employees will not be motivated. Hence, employees are required to be given incentives to accept challenges of being a supervisor. Definitely, the nature of job of a supervisor is more challenging than that of a normal employee. Then pay strategies related to supervisors. Key base, okay, this is a recommendation or this is what is generally found in the industries. So how do companies determine the compensation of supervisors? Okay, it is key base salaries of supervisors to an amount exceeding highest paid employee. Say for example, there is a supervisor and he is supervising about, I don't know exactly, but let us say 25 workers. Do you feel all the 25 workers will receive same salary? Depending on the skill and maybe also based on merit or seniority, their salary amount drawn, okay, from salary will be different. So somebody will be getting highest salary. So supervisor salary should be more than the highest paid employee in the factory or group. So this is what is the common practice or what is recommended generally related to pay of supervisors. Why it is so? See, it will give an edge over other employees. If the supervisor is not, if the supervisor is paid the same salary as that of employees, and if he is made a supervisor, do you think the employees will listen to him? Okay, some of them will be drawing more salary than, they will say, go away man. Okay, see, this is what I have witnessed in many of the setups, okay, where the salary of senior employees were up to, you may not believe, I will not name the type of sector or college, So 2,50,000 rupees. Can you believe? Monthly salary. Okay, and the head of that organization said, do you think that man will listen to me? Okay, because his salary was lower than that. In seniority he was junior, but though due to merit he earned the position of head. Okay, but unless the head of the organization or the supervisor in this case, his or her salary should be more. That gives weightage to the role. Okay, please remember that always. And pay supervisors for scheduled overtime. So even since supervisors are also working, if they work overtime, they also need to be paid the overtime as per the schedule. Then second point is trend in supervisory compensation. So what is observed with respect to compensation of supervisors in the industry? Now, earlier even the supervisors' salaries were higher proportion of base pay used to be there, but over a period of time companies are using variable pay as a higher proportion in the compensation of a supervisor, because supervisor will be responsible for the production goals of his or her team. So if the team achieves production goals, company will be benefited, or company goals will be achieved, production goals will be achieved. Hence supervisor is motivated by way of increasing the proportion of variable pay or incentive in the total compensation. That is the trend what is observed. More than half of all companies have a variable pay component for supervisors in the industry. Okay, so if any of your parents are working in a factory setup especially, if you talk to them, you can come to know. Okay, so that is all about supervisors. So any questions related to strategies related to supervisory pay, or even if somebody wants to add some additional information related to supervisor pay, you can always share. Students online, do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, any questions?
No, sir.
Sorry? But those seniors who are not heads, they will never listen to their supervisor or manager or head. Okay, so that is the problem always. Yes. See that high salary, head of the team leader should have more salary compared to the team members. Only then team members will give importance to the team leader. Otherwise no. Okay, it is very rare. Okay, if no questions, then we will move on to the compensation issues of corporate directors. In India we call them board of directors. Who elects board of directors? Elects. Board of directors are elected in a public limited company. Who elects? Shareholders, right? And the board of directors elect chairman. CEO is appointed by selection process. Okay, so you must know this. So we are talking about this board of directors or corporate directors. So there are a couple of points here before we go ahead with that. Issues related to corporate director. Stockholders blame corporate directors for excessively high executive compensation. Definitely board of directors are people who earn highest in the organization. Okay, and you may not believe, there is some data here. I'll read this first. In exchange for meeting at least quarterly, they meet only once in 3 months. In US, United States of America, a typical director receives about $55,000 in cash and incentives, and a total of about $1,50,000 for meeting once in 3 months. This is a conflict. An employee shareholders will say, see, there is a conflict here, it is already mentioned. And shareholders blame corporate directors for excessively high executive compensation. Why you are paying so much? Okay, it is our money, shareholders' money, right? So why you are paying such a high salary? Okay, so it may demoralize other employees or it may increase cost for the company. So that is a conflict, what we said. directors are much more active in decision making for the company, acquisitions, mergers. It is the board of directors who involve in decision making, and somewhat less prone to grant huge salaries to the CEO. They themselves draw huge salary, but they are reluctant to give more salary to CEO. So there is another conflict area. Approximately 2/3 of boards. Okay, so there are agencies in US, okay, who conduct regular surveys. Okay, unfortunately in our country there certain surveys are not conducted on a regular basis. Okay, for example, company like payscale.com, they conduct longitudinal study over a period of time, okay, on same subject. Okay, they keep on conducting the study to identify the trends. Such some couple of studies we will discuss here also in this chapter. Okay, so this is according to the US data. Approximately 2/3 of boards means, okay, now include more outside directors than inside directors. Other than the original promoters, there are other people who come and join as a board of directors. Okay, so what are the issues, okay, related to corporate directors or executives? Executives here we can consider as the CEO also, chief executive officer. So board of directors or executives, their pay is linked to company performance. Okay, I'll use one word, CEO, chief executive officer. Their pay is linked to company performance. Company performance, if company performance exceeds industry standards, okay, say for example, if an automobile industry is growing at the rate of approximately, okay, it is an example, right now I don't know what is the growth rate of automobile industry year on year. Okay, so if the industry is growing, let us say at the rate of 18%, industry as a whole, automobile industry, and if the company grows at the rate of 20% or 22%, we say this company has exceeded the performance of the industry standard. So company performance, if company performance exceeds industry standards, big bonuses and stock payouts are given to chief executive officer. They will be ultimately held responsible for the performance of the organization. And in those years where the financial performance is poor, means much smaller pay package for the chief executive officer, because their pay is linked to company performance. Okay, this is the first point. Second, there are ways to rein in executive compensation. Okay, see, many a times it is very difficult to calculate or tell how much a chief executive or executive, okay, what is the compensation of an executive. For example, other than the base pay, short term incentives, long term incentives, they are also entitled for certain perquisites, benefits and stock options. Say if a CEO has certain stock options and which he has not sold during the year, but still he has the stocks. If he sells, he will make the gains. So he can make out how much money he made during that year by way of selling the stocks. But if he does not sell, how are you going to calculate the value of the stocks? So, and say for example, other benefits like okay, providing a car, a chauffeur means driver for the car. How are you actually going to calculate? So it becomes very difficult to understand how much the executives actually earn. So one very simple old method, it is tally sheet. Means what we do, whatever is spent on certain item we go on recording, and you can make out how much is spent at the end of certain period, maybe 1 month or 1 year. So same way a tally sheet is used to accommodate all the expenses, direct and indirect, that are incurred for the executives, and that will give an idea month after month or year after year how much the remuneration is earned by executives. It's a simple one, but earlier this practice was not there. Now it's a new trend. Then increase government regulation. Say for example, stockholders can vote or propose limits to compensation. Okay, the country, it depends on a different country, laws prevailing in the different country. Again, certain countries may provide, okay, authority to stockholders to limit the compensation of executives. Okay, so these are certain issues related to executives. Now other than that, what we are going to learn is the components of an executive compensation package. So generally, what are the components of a pay package? Base, bonuses, employee stock option, allowance, benefits, and so on. Okay. So let us see what are the components of executive compensation package. So base salary, short-term incentives or bonuses based on annual performance of the company, some amount will be paid to the executives. Then long-term incentives, executive benefits, and perquisites or perks, anything extra given other than salary. So a couple of slides we will consider for long-term incentives and perquisites also. So one trend, this is what I have been telling you. So on regular surveys are conducted on many subjects related to compensation and benefits or compensation of special groups. So this is a longitudinal study from 1970s to 2000s for approximately 40 years. For a period of 40 years, the survey was conducted on these components of executive compensation. So if you look at, these are all averages in percentages. If you look at the in 1970s, the base proportion of the base salary of executives used to be around 60%, means higher. Okay, and if you look at the trend in 1980s, average proportion of the base salary in the total compensation got reduced to 40%, in 1990s to 33%, and today it is approximately around 16% average it is. So if the base proportion of the base salary is decreasing, then what is increasing? Look here, short-term bonus, long-term incentives, especially long-term incentives were a very small part of the total compensation in 1970s. That was 15% of the total compensation of executives. It started increasing. 1980s, 20% of the total compensation were long-term incentives, and in 1990s it increased to 40% of the total compensation of executives was long-term incentives, and today around the proportion of the long-term incentives in the total compensation of executives is 68%. Can you believe now? Okay. So I think you should understand. So how this compensation is different from compensation of average employee or regular employee. Okay. So this is a breakdown of executive compensation components. It is related to the previous slide only. Okay. Then description of long-term incentives for executives. There are many types of long-term incentives provided for executives. Okay, two of which I am going to discuss here. One is incentive stock options. What are these? A company benefit that give an employee, we are talking about executives. So a company benefit that gives an employee the right to buy stock shares at a discounted price with the added allure of a lower tax on the profit. These are referred as incentive stock options. Okay. So if the shares are traded, if the stock is traded at, let us say, $800 per share or per stock, okay, these executives will be offered the same share at a price lower than that of market price, say $750 or $700 per stock. Okay, or in India also, if 800 rupees is the market price of the share, the executives are offered the same shares at a lower price or discounted price, say for 750 rupees or 700 rupees. Okay, but if they sell it, they will get the market price. And whatever profit they make by selling such shares, okay, tax is levied at a lower rate. Okay. Then second, another type of long-term incentives for executives is a performance share plans or performance unit plans. It allows executives to earn actual stock in their company. The company establishes specific financial objectives which once achieved will trigger the awarding of stock grants to executives. Okay, so these are performance based. These are upon joining. Okay, so if an executive performs better than the industry standard or as per the standard or benchmark set by the board of directors, in that case these executives are offered actual stock, okay, in their company. Okay, so we call them as a performance share or unit plans. Now how these executives are, why they are called as a long-term incentives? Yes, stock options, you can forget about the plans, type of incentives. At least employee stock options, how it is a long-term incentive for executives. Our first question is how executives make money with stock options. Stock option means shares, equity shares. No, I am asking if employee stock option is a component in the compensation of an executive, how they earn. Do they earn or simply for name's sake they take the shares? Okay. They sell the shares, okay, and they make the profit. And even if they don't sell dividends, they are entitled for. Okay. Then what happens to changes in share price? The share price changes over a period of time or in short term? Over a period of time. Okay. Share price, if you consider the Infosys share price when they started and after 10 years, you can see the difference. Stock market, how it performs over a period of time or suddenly? Over a period of time. Okay, so that's why these shares are given to both executives and they are put under the task of high performance of the company. So the CEOs have to work for achieving high performance of the company. So as and when the company performance increases, they pay higher dividend as well as their share prices increase over a period of time. Okay, so today if the executive is given a share of 800 rupees each, after 5 years it may become 5000 rupees per share. And try to understand, they don't give 100 shares, 1000 shares. Okay, lakhs of shares are given, remember. They make several crores of rupees and they sell. Okay. So this is how when the company performs over a period of time, okay, the stock valuation increases in the market and thereby either selling, the executive can make money. So that motivates the CEO to perform better. Okay. Then I only read them out. Okay, these are not explained. Popular perks offered to executives like chief executive officer. Physical exam or health checkup you can call it, company car, financial counseling, company plane, okay, income tax preparation, first class air travel, country club membership, okay, luncheon club membership. Okay, this is a club which provides hot midday meals at a lower price. So if these employees can be made membership is given to the executives, so where they can have midday meals. Okay. So why it is so important? See, most of the developed nations, food is very important for people. In our country, people wake up without breakfast and rush to workplace and to colleges. Okay. So food is very important. They give very importance to food. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, followed by lunch, and dinner is light always. Okay. Then the cost of food in most of the developed nation is quite high. Okay, it's quite high. Okay. And personal liability insurance, spouse travel, chauffeur means driver service, reserved parking, executive dining room, home security system, car phone, loans at low or no interest rate, legal counseling. Okay, so these are the different perks offered to executives, and all these cost to company. They cost, they are not free. Remember. So hence they become part of the total compensation package of executives. So this is all about compensation of executives. So if any point is not understood or if you have any questions, please ask. Performance. Now we saw here, see, as per the new trend or present trend, the proportion of the long-term incentives is up to 68%. If they do not perform, they get only like about 16% of base salary, and they will lose this earning. But see, you can see that base proportion of base in the total compensation is decreased to negligible amount. Okay, he can only pay for his house rent. Okay. So they are tend to perform. Okay, this is the best way to compensate a chief executive officer. High risk, high reward, high risk. Right. That is why it is mentioned here. See, first point, pay is linked to company performance. If company performance exceeds industry standards, big bonuses and stock payouts follow. If the company performs poor in financial terms, these executives get a smaller pay packages. Okay, what they get is the entitlement, that is basic pay, which is very low in the total compensation. Good. Okay, any value additions, anything you would like to add to this discussion? Students online, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, then we'll move to the last part of the chapter, conflicts faced by sales staff. Okay. So sales staff often go for extended periods in field with little supervision. So this is one among the conflicts. So who checks whether they are working or not, and they spend company money on travel, right? So their travel costs are borne by the company. You should know that. What are the challenges, okay, in managing the sales staff? Okay, in keeping the sales force motivated is a major task, and compensation is one among the major tools of motivation for any employee, including sales force. Okay, then continuing to make sales calls despite little supervision. Okay, so many times there is very little supervision as to whether the sales people are going into the field meeting the end users or not. Okay, so the organization needs to motivate the sales staff so that they can keep making the sales calls or keep meeting the customers to get the sales, okay, despite of the little supervision. Supervision means inside the factory, if the factory employees are working or not, directly supervised by the supervisor. But field sales representatives or field sales people, is there any supervisor who follows them behind him or her, whether it's going there, going here? No, you cannot do that. It will not be affordable. So they are left on their own. Yeah. They will be having some targets. See, but in spite of that, if most of the sales people do not achieve the targets, they will achieve the targets only then when they keep motivated, only when they continue to make sales calls. So what role compensation can play in this context? Okay, you are talking about performance measurement, right? Okay. So this is the exhibit of sales compensation components, like how we saw it for executives: base salary, short-term incentive, long-term incentive, perquisites and benefits. So this is a study from 2002 to 2005 with respect to components of sales force compensation. So if you look at this basic salary from 2002 to 2005, all this is sales staff, okay, at various levels in the hierarchy. Then bonus plus commission for the same period, and the change in total compensation for the same period at each level. So if we consider top level sales representative, okay, top level sales representative in 2002, this is all again US data, IOME report on salary surveys 2006, okay. So top level sales representative drew base salary of $78,483. This is all annual, okay, and average. Okay, in 2002, whereas it increased to 87,342 in 2005. Same way, their bonus plus commission. Bonus is based on the company performance. All the employees are given certain, okay, amount, which we refer to as bonus. Payment of bonus is not mandatory. Okay. So commission is incentives on sales targets achieved. So bonus plus commission earned by top level sales representatives in 2002 was $60,976, and it increased to $66,075 in 2005. The total compensation of top level sales representatives was $139,459 in 2002, and in 2005 it increased to $153,417. Same way, if we consider the low level sales representatives, yes, the trend is same. It went on increasing, and average of all representatives, all sales staff, yes, the average has also increased over a period of time. Okay. So it means, okay, the sales staff are being paid. The sales staff are being paid, okay, based on their performance, and the sales staff is kept motivated, which is visible from their earnings in bonus plus commission as well as total compensation. See, otherwise it is not possible to manage sales staff. Okay, now what type of sales compensation packages are offered to sales staff? So one is guaranteed base salary like any other employee, okay, that is fixed component, whether irrespective of the performance of the sales staff, they are entitled to receive this base salary. Okay. Then second plan or package is guaranteed base salary plus commission. Okay, so like when I used to work for Cipla, okay, my compensation package included only guaranteed base salary. Okay, the company then did not had base salary plus commission, irrespective of the achievement of target, okay, or not, we used to receive only guaranteed base salary, and most of the competitors had this package, guaranteed base salary plus commission. Commission is based on the achievement of the sales targets given, it was on monthly basis. Okay. Then third option is guaranteed base pay plus bonus. See, commission here is individual. What is the difference? Try to understand. Guaranteed base salary plus commission. Commission is based on individual performance. One more pay package is guaranteed base salary plus bonus. Bonus is for all employees. When bonus is paid? When the overall company performs better. When overall company's financial objectives are met. Only in that case all the employees are given a bonus along with the base salary. Okay, it is for all the employees. Then guaranteed base salary plus commission plus bonus. See here what happens. Okay, guaranteed base salary plus commission, only the high performers earn high salary. Here some Ashutosh himself asked one day, okay, if we can recall, what if all employees will not work equally? So those employees who have not achieved sales target also will be entitled for bonus. So to overcome that problem, third plan, what is it? Guaranteed base salary plus commission plus bonus also. So if there is an employee, let us say, who has underperformed, he will not receive commission. So his salary will be lower compared to an employee who has achieved the sales targets, because he receives not only base salary plus commission plus bonus. So equity is maintained in pay of sales staff. There is one more method also of paying sales staff, commission only. There is no fixed salary. Okay, this type of a package or plan is usually followed by network marketing companies, you know. Are they entitled for any basic salary? No. They get a commission only based on the sales they make and members they enroll. And again, what their members sell, they are entitled for a commission for that also. And who else? What is another example where sales staff is paid only commission and not basic salary? LIC insurance agents. See, LIC has the largest sales force in the world. It is the company with the largest number of sales representatives. So in India we use a term called insurance agent, but remember they are sales staff of LIC who are appointed only on commission basis. If they sell a policy and collect premium, out of that premium, depending on the type of plan, they are entitled for certain commission only. And if they don't sell policy or if they don't collect premium, they don't receive anything in that month or that year. Okay. So this was simplified, okay, for students. Okay. It was special groups, compensation of special groups. How the compensation policy or compensation system is extended to special groups. Who are special groups? They are also employees, but their characteristics are different. And who are the special groups? Supervisors, corporate directors, executives and sales staff. So any questions? I hope, yeah, that's the end. Any questions here? Any part which you did not understood? Okay, classroom students do not have any doubt. How about online students? Any doubts? Okay, so let me decide. As I mentioned, one chapter I would like to go for a recorded video, but let me take one class on Thursday. You have a 3:30 to 4:30 free class. Anybody has announced to take that class? Okay, I'll put up a notice now only. So I will engage the HR class on Thursday 3:30 to 4:30. You don't have training, right, during that time? Then my regular class on Friday. So with that, I think I will be able to make a fair decision whether to go all the classes live or go for one recorded class. Okay, online students, you heard me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you. So then if you do not have any doubts, next chance is for late join. Students, if any student has joined late, kindly let me know. I will mark their attendance. Geeta. Nikita. Thank you. Okay, so Nikita joined late, her attendance will be marked. Okay, so if you do not have any doubts, so if you are okay. So if you do not